Phillips, great work. Past the player to Sterling. He's got a chance. And it's in. Raheem Sterling scores his first goal at a major tournament. Sterling the GOAT. Will England get past the quarters in Euro 2020? Great goal. Hello, and today we are doing a match review of England 1, Croatia 0. And it is interesting looking at this game on Sunday that England actually played well in. And a lot of people are saying they didn't play well enough to, for those England fans out there, be optimistic to win this competition because it's one game. You can't take a lot from it. But what this game did show is that England can adapt and they can nullify another team's threats. And we saw that Luka Modric was just basically, marked out the game by Calvin Phillips, marked out the game by Declan Rice. But were England impressive enough going forward? Well, they started the game on the front foot. Really nice play from Phil Foden, cutting in, as he always does on that, right-hand side. And it was fantastic. What an effort, but hits the post. It's one of those ones that can easily go back off the goalkeeper, off the post and as an own goal, as we saw with that Szczesny own goal against Slovakia. So it was, nervy moment for Croatia. They got through that. And England had chances, but didn't really have big opportunities. Calvin Phillips with a very good hit, just straight along the ground on the volley and a decent save once again. But it was just England trying to assert their dominance, and they had a bit of tempo to their game. It was just lacking those shots in the final product. But then Croatia got back into it, and a little mistake there from Kyle Walker in the middle of the park, giving it away, and then Croatia not making the most of it. Their slow build-up, Croatia, wasn't that effective, and they did struggle to kind of get crosses into the box and, shots away, especially from their target man that we thought would have more of a role, Andre Kramaric. Ante Rebic also had moments in the game, little flashes, but Croatia just grew into that half as it went on, and England starting to get a little bit more nervy as half-time whistle blew. So with England, that they did start off well, but it was just they didn't make the most of what was happening in the first half. But the second half came around, and England did a lot better, and a lot more energy in their performance, a lot more desire, and it was a very good team goal that I just watched back. Calvin Phillips, he just seemed to be all over the park against Croatia, really covering every blade of grass. And actually, that is a really difficult pass to execute. He gets just the right weight on it, and he sees the run of Sterling. And, that was happening all of the game. The ball's over the top from Tyrone Mings or Kieran Trippier, and England were getting down, Croatia's flanks. They were getting over the top, and Sterling was making those good runs. And also Mason Mount was making those good runs. He's very good at getting the ball and just turning and pivoting, and, a few clipped attempts to try and get in Raheem Sterling. But Sterling got the ball this time, and it was one of those ones, when he's so close to the goal, you just need to smash it. And unfortunately for him, the defender was sliding back, so he didn't have a lot of time to do what he needed to do, but he did get enough of a contact on it and just kind of stroked it home after the defender, kind of collided with him, but it was enough. The goalie maybe should have saved it. I don't know. It's so close range. You have to react quickly, but he kind of just went underneath him, and he could only get a touch on it. It bounced down into the goal, and England have their first of the tournament. So, it's great to see Raheem Sterling get it, obviously for his first in these kind of tournaments, but also, the amazing work he's been doing in terms of just leading the fight against what's been a terrible year. And, it's not acceptable in any sport, let alone, a sport where people are giving their best on the day. Their lives are in, jeopardy, as we saw with Eriksen. But the point is, no player should have to go through any form of racism, and no human being should have to go through that. And Raheem Sterling has been a fantastic advocate and spoke out on what happened in Bulgaria, and really has been, help fighting that charge to cut out any form of hate. So, yeah, seems nice and seemed fitting that Sterling got that goal in that respect. But no, generally he was a threat all day. Croatia couldn't handle him, and Luka Modric in the midfield just really didn't have that effect. He was very quiet in the game, and Croatia in the second half they had a few chances, but they were very wasteful. Ante Rebic, one of them, really should have been doing better with that opportunity. You also had Croatia whipping in balls, and they were just having shots from far out, and that's just going to be an easy situation for England to get through. So the only thing I would say about England is their positioning, and you can say about Calvin Phillips how he made that position his own. That's fine. Tyrone Mings had a pretty decent performance considering a lot of people questioning his start, but we didn't have many other centre backs. England didn't, and Mings actually did deal with all that was thrown at him. But with Harry Kane, I don't know about his positioning. I think it was questionable because when you look at that England team, the way they play and they're kind of building from the back a little bit, but it started off with Kane. We were trying to find him early, and he was playing quite deep, early on in the game. But actually, he needs to drop back a little bit more because, all right, he can play deep, but then if he's not going to be in the box when we whip in crosses, then you're thinking we're not utilising the heading ability of Harry Kane, and England and Southgate's not utilising that. So that was a bit of a mistake, I think. Kane was just not quite on it against Croatia. I don't know what it was. A lot of people thought he would be. Of course, he'll be another favourite for the Golden Boot. He loves these tournaments, and he won the Golden Boot in Russia 2018. So, he's been amazing this season for Spurs. He's, unfortunately for him, not won any award because of it, apart from Player of the Season. But, he's actually added to his game. He's added assists to his game, and he's got that kind of really clever movement, but also he's got the clever judgment of the pass to find his teammates. But I don't think he had the positioning and the judgment in this one. He did, of course, have a big opportunity that was, very well constructed by Mason Mount on that left-hand side. Mason Mount had a good game, I think. He was unlucky not to score with the free kick that just went over. And, of course, put some wonderful balls into the box, some great pivots and some great pieces of, play. But ultimately, that should be in the back of the net from Harry Kane. It's a chance that he usually doesn't pass up. And it might have bobbled a little bit from Mason Mount, but it's still a fantastic ball to that far right post. And Harry Kane just kind of overhits it, collides with the post. He's a soldier, though. He keeps on going and he gets back on, and then later on in the game is replaced with the substitute. So, yeah, I'm not sure, really, if that was the most perfect way to utilise Harry Kane. But, that's what Southgate's decided. That's what Kane has done. And I'm sure that he's not going to take that performance and, ultimately be happy with that. He's going to go into that Scotland game on Friday and think, I need to do better than that. I know that I'm better than that. But we know, of course, that Harry Kane, he has got such high expectations. So I'm sure that's not, a massive blow for England. He's still definitely got much more to show. I don't think England were great in this game. They managed the game well. They had great energy, and there is depth on that bench, and that's an exciting thing for England. But, you think about Jadon Sancho, Ben Chilwell, not even in the squad. They had to pick 23 players, and obviously it's 26 from the COVID situation and the situations around this Euros this summer. So I think there was just a few moments where, Phillips, amazing performance, I think man of the match, but a few moments where some of the players were just a little bit indecisive, got to take the moment earlier. And Jordan Pickford, in truth, didn't have a lot to do. And like I mentioned, Croatia wasting a lot of their opportunities. So I don't know. I feel like that kind of game, you can't really call it a let-off because England did, manage the game well, and that will give all the players confidence the way they came out. And yeah, I have to give England respect for that. But you've got to give Jordan Pickford credit because he looked assured in goal all day long. He didn't have a lot to do, but when he did have to, he kind of dealt with it, and he did make a few really important catches from crosses and from mishit shots. But let's be honest, I think we were going into this quite pessimistic as, Croatia were a very good team, and, they thought maybe part the bus, see out a draw, because, you know, that's going to be the toughest test of the group. But actually, no, England did go out there and they asserted their dominance on this Croatia team. It was a really, really good performance. There's just not much more to say that. They were in control from start to finish, and I think on the ball, they can utilise their possession a little bit more. But ultimately, when they're in the final third, it's good to see Raheem Sterling get that goal. And it will be a worry, obviously, in those other games. You want the goal difference to be better, so you've got to be a bit more clinical. But in terms of the defensive work, I think there's a lot for England fans to be happy about. And it's funny that Kyle Walker, who, you know, did make a error of judgment, I'd say, in the final or semi-final against Croatia in the 2018 World Cup when England got knocked out, and Ivan Perisic kind of just got ahead of him, got the right side of him and scored the goal, kind of flicked it. But actually, no, Walker gets his comeback, get his revenge and redemption on Perisic this time. And he actually just does really well to kind of shield him out. And it was a bouncing ball. Perisic could have got there, but he kind of did really good, smart defending. Now, Jack Grealish is obviously a talking point. A lot of people would have wanted him to start, but he didn't. And, you know, you can say, oh, he should be used as an impact substitute, but he does offer a lot. We know that. And I think that he will have a lot more to give. Phil Foden will have a lot more to give. You know, he did kind of lose his way in that game, and I think we'll see more from Phil Foden. But I think England just be content, not buzzing, because it's the first game. They've got to stay grounded. But to win against Croatia was a surprise because, you know, England had never won the opening game of the Euros. So I think as we go along, we judge Southgate as, you know, the results happen. You've got to say he got it right in this game. And I just feel like that game, although it was only a 1-0 and it was cagey, and, you know, we said this might happen for Southgate, it's a victory. And actually we were in control, or England were in control, I should say. So, yeah, it's done. That's my match review. And the goal from Raheem Sterling, assisted by Phillips, it was a great moment. And in terms of, you know, Croatia were just not quite on their game, and it doesn't mean, of course, that they've got through the groups. There's a long way to go, and it's great to see, of course, Bellingham get that, you know, record debutant moment, really. So 17 years of age, unbelievable, and they will face Scotland, of course, at Wembley on Friday, and that is a big game, of course, the Battle of Britain. But that game is encouraging. It's just going to be interesting to see if they can, in terms of what was a very even game for possession, shots, and shots on target, and corners, can England now drive home that, you know, chances, that control on a game, in a game against Czech Republic and Scotland, who, you know, did look disappointing today, and Czech Republic did look clinical. So it will be very fascinating to see where this England team goes, but it's just one win. We have to remember that. So far, so good, though, for the Three Lions. So I shall see you in the next video. I hope you have enjoyed. Smash a like on it. Tell me if my, you know, tactical analysis and my general analysis on the game and Raheem Sterling's moment was enjoyable, and you agreed with it. Any, you know, other thoughts about England's performance, get it in the comment section below. But obviously, as a Portugal fan, I'm going to be reviewing my game on Tuesday against Hungary. Come on, lads. We have to do better. We have to do better than some of the performances, I'd say, in qualifying, because the only real game that we played well was the first half of that Serbia game. But it's a big one against Hungary, because it's realistically the most winnable game. I mean, you'd say that for Scotland fans, their most winnable game was Czech Republic today, and look what they did. So, yeah, it is big. But Sterling with a goal on 57 minutes, a winning start for England. I'm sure they won't complain too much about that.